Hello there, this is David from David Books and Comics, and today I want to present the my top 10 favorite covers in my collection of books. Now, Grammaticus Books put out this challenge about his top 10, which I invite you to learn. I'll put a link to the channel in the description of my this video. And you can look at his. It's a beautiful presentation that he does. He's very articulate, and I enjoy his show. And if you watch my channel, please watch his. Anyway, so this is the Jim Steranko cover for the complete collection of the Domino Lady. And Domino Lady was a masked adventurer that appeared in several pulp stories, 6, I believe, 5 or 6. This one also includes Steranko's own story, 12 little chapter novella that at the back of the book. It's well worth collecting and picking up. It's a beautiful hardcover edition. So that's that. So this is number 1 that I picked. It's one of the better ones. Beautiful Steranko cover. It's one of my faves. All right, the next one, I'd say number 2. I might as well include this one. This is a Norman Saunders, and this is the facsimile reprint of the Domino Lady's Double from the November 1936 issue, I think, of Mystery Adventure magazine, and it features a Norm Saunders cover, beautiful cover by the artist. And it has our 2 lead protagonists as they appear in the story. And that's a description of a scene that takes place in the story where the double actually tries to do away with our lead protagonist. Beautifully illustrated Norm Saunders cover. I think it's one of the best, and I think that's why the Girasol company that produced this chose to have this as one of the covers for their as one of their facsimile reprints. It's a beautiful cover by Norm Saunders. All right, so that's number 2. That's one of my favorite covers. Number 3 is a Christos Achilleos cover of Raven, Sword Mistress of Chaos, beautifully illustrated by him. This is the first time to meet Raven. Number 1, Sword Mistress of Chaos, features the art by Achilleos. The story is written by Robert Holdstock with Angus Wells. Beautifully written, just fun sword and sorcery adventure. And I do have a presentation that I make on the series. It's a 5-book series. And it has different covers. There's beautiful covers by Achilleos and another guy named Royo. All right, so that's the 3rd book, my 3rd favorite. And number 4 is this beautiful cover by George Gross. Now, the Edge series was picked up by the publisher Pinnacle Paperbacks from where it was originally published in New English Library. And the George Gross cover art and many of the Edge Western cover art artists are some of the best work I've seen in Western cover. Here it shows our lead protagonist in all his glory, just leading a scene of violence, and an image that perfectly encapsulates the content of the novels of these paperbacks. They were written by Terry Harknett, writing as George G. Gilman. So this is Edge number 15, Paradise Loses. All right, the next one that I'll present, and this is number 5, and this is by Marion Zimmer Bradley, edited by Marion Zimmer Bradley, And this is an anthology called Sword and Sorceress. This is DAW book number 578, and it features beautiful cover with all the themes of the stories that are extant in the book. The cover artist, it's signed right here. It says Victoria, and it's Victoria Poyser is the cover artist. It's a beautiful cover. One of the best covers, I think, in the DAW book series. DAW book, you can pretty much take your pick in terms of covers. There's some that are just gorgeous to look at. All right. So that is number 5. That's Sword and Sorceress. And this is number 6. And I don't know who the cover artist is. This is a hardcover original. This is Jimmy Dale and the Phantom Clue. And, Jimmy Dale and the Blue Envelope Murder by Frank L. Packard. He played the part of a masked adventure character in Escapade Adventures, mystery stories, much in the kin. Well, it's hard to compare nowadays with anything that's being written. But anyways, Jimmy Dale and the Blue Envelope Murder. And it's a beautiful cover. Nice Dutch jacket. I like the gaslight in the background that captures the kind of time that the story was written in, or that takes place, the context of the story, which was stories which were in New York City, and which were in those days not lit by electric lights, but by gas lights. All right, so it's just a beautiful cover. It's Jimmy Dale and the Blue Envelope Murder by Frank L. Packard. All right. Now, for something completely different, not really, here's another beautiful cover. This is a Bantam Book edition of Batman, the animated series, Duel to the Death. And it's a novelization by Gary Gravel. That novelization of two stories, a total of 5 episodes of the Batman animated series. The cover art, I'm not sure, but it's certainly done in the Bruce Timm style. Beautiful cover, and if you've watched the animated series, critically acclaimed series, well worth just watching for both the character acting of the voice actors, and just the animation. Anyway, so that's Batman the Animated Series, Duel to the Death. All right. So that's number 7. All right. Number 8. I didn't know if to put this as number 8 or but this is a beautiful cover. And it's done by an artist named Mitchell Hooks. And if you don't know who Mitchell Hooks is by his name, you certainly do know of him from his artwork. And he's the poster artists for some movie posters, but the most prominent one being Dr. No movie poster from the James Bond series. So that's a beautiful cover, and it's one of my favorites covers. I purchased this book years ago off a bookshelf for a lot of money for me back then, 50 cents. And Captain America, The Great Gold Steel. And it was a novel written by Ted White, good writer, by the way. And so that's that one. So that's number 8 in the series. Beautiful cover. And Captain America. Can't beat that. All right, number 9. And this was, again, a toss-up. This is a Frank Frazetta cover, and it's one of the best. I know Grammaticus mentions it in his episode, but this is Carl Edward Wagner's Bloodstone. It's a paperback original, first edition. And it's a great story. And it captures the essence and rugged essence of the character, both uh, both the virility and the violence. And you see the sword with the blood on it, and the great cover art by one of the best cover artists in the business of sword and sorcery, and that's Frank Frazetta. All right, so that's number 9. Okay, number 9. And this is the last. It's my favorite. This is number 10 in the series. It's one of my favorite covers. Beautiful cover by one of the great book cover artists, a guy named Ken Kelly. And, you know, there's many great covers that, and for DAW, so it was really hard to choose. DAW has a whole section of great covers. And it needs probably needs one of its own episodes of top 10 DAW covers. So I'll leave that for somebody else to do. This is DAW number 459, Charles R. Saunders in Morrow, the epic novel of a jungle hero. Cover artist is by Ken Kelly. Great cover. And now will come my honorable mentions, and I'll just produce 4 honorable mentions that deserve mention of my favorite covers. So these are my top 10, and it was hard to choose because there's a lot of really great covers out there. There's some Larry Hamas that I didn't show, obviously from the Doc Savage series, and there's several of those. So it's really hard to pick what is a top 10er, but this is, I consider, just not only there's a tendency for me to do the genre of sword and sorcery, but I had to pick what I thought were the best. Anyway, let me just present you some honorable mentions. Okay. First honorable mention, of course, is Barry Windsor Smith, this beautiful painted cover from the King Kung Fu series. And this is the first Freeway Press series of paperbacks. It's King Kung Fu, Son of the Flying Tiger. And it's number 1 in the series, a total of 7 in the series. All right, so that's that. So that's by Marshall McHow, and I believe it was, Alexander Cedar is a journeyman writer who wrote it. So that's number 1, Son of the Flying Tiger. This is one of the best covers, honorable mentions that deserve probably a higher mention, but this is the Michael Whalen cover of Michael Moorcock's Stormbringer. One of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. It encapsulates sword and sorcery. With Elric of Melnibone holding on to the demon sword, Stormbringer. And it's, as you can look at the painting, it's done in a dark and chaotic, almost a chaotic kind of image that you see there with the green in the background, and Elric raising his sword to fight against whatever demons the world has to offer. This is DAW book number 264. And this is another one of my favorite Michael Whalen covers. This is another third honorable mention. It's DAW book number 180, 5th novel in the Green Star Saga, In the Green Star's Glow by Lynn Carter. One of the things about the fantasy artists is that they really capture the essence of and the largesse of what the writer of the stories are trying to portray. It really is a necessary, I think, when you have the artist kind of conveying what the largesse of what the writer is trying to present. So there you go. That's Lynn Carter's In the Green Star's Glow. I just love that cover with the purple in the background. Another honorable mention is this. This is Roy Krenkel for the cover of Flight to Opar by Philip Jose Farmer. And this is DAW book number 197. And of course, Farmer was given a heads up to convey this mystical land of Opar, Opar being an offshoot of Atlantis, that famous mystical country, country that's virtually a running theme of many of modern fantasy. So that's a beautiful cover of Flight to Opar, Philip Jose Farmer, DAW book number 197. Finally, the last honorable mention, and I better stop with honorable mentions, but this is the Ralph McQuarrie's cover art for the very first edition of Star Wars, From the Adventures of Luke Skywalker, a novel by George Lucas. And we all know that the writer of this novelization was Alan Dean Foster. And it's just a beautiful cover. And if you know the history of Star Wars, you'll know that it was Ralph McQuarrie artwork that helped convince the executives of 20th Century Fox to help finance the production of the movie of Star Wars. So this is an excellent cover. It captures, in essence, all of the characters. You see the Wookiee in the background. You see R2-D2, C-3PO, and of course Luke Skywalker with the laser sword, lightsaber. Anyway, so there you go. There's my top 10 with 6 honorable mentions, and I just had to add those 6. So I don't know how anybody can do just 10, because there's some great artists that contributed to, the selling of literature, the selling of books for people to read and enjoy. So anyway, thanks for watching. And again, check in. I'll put a link to Grammaticus's channel so you can watch his, because he does a beautiful job. All right, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.